We'll pick up.
Launch sequence activated. Prepare for light speed.
Keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best grandee, unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Go lay down.
Well, welcome to the Mystery Weekly Crimecast, everyone. I am Mr. E. I am joined today by Mrs. E. We had some interesting sound effects coming in there, a cat and a dog and everything else. I thought it was some new sound effects that Mrs. E had added, and then I think we were just having a little animal issue there. Auntie, I guess, will be back to join us shortly. So I think she's getting attacked by her animals, is what it sounded like.
Didn't sound good.
But it didn't sound good. Well, welcome in. Good to see you. Dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches. Rose Wilkinson. I saw Mama Rissa in here earlier. BMW Coop. Good to see you too. And so very, very happy 4th of July to everybody that is joining us here. As you come in, if you wouldn't mind to hit the like button for us, that helps us a lot with people seeing that we're here. Oh, I see. I just noticed the backdrop. Good job,
Yes.
Mrs. E. Very nice. And I see that Auntie is in her festive 4th of July yellow.
Yes.
Oh, you do have a flag. Okay, you are wearing.
Yeah.
I was like, it's funny because you're so patriotic. I was like, I'm surprised you weren't.
I've got a big flag on the back.
Gotcha. I just didn't see the emblem there. So, well, good.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
how,
I've got my son's dog is here, and he is very antsy and doesn't like fireworks, but he's not happy right now. So that's why if you hear the barging in and the barking, it's because of the craziness going on here.
I'm not seeing chat moving, so I want to ask you guys to let us know you're here by telling us where you are, if you want, or what the temperature is where you are right now.
Well, see, Hindsight's here. So we've got the trifecta on the Hindsight live stream crew. So thank you, ladies, for all being here. They of course do a great job on those. I think they've got a live stream coming up on Hindsight's sometime, maybe early next week.
Opal's here. Hi, Opal. Nice to see you. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th and good to see you. Thank you so much for being a member for 4 months.
Yes, we appreciate you. BMW Coop just says it's hot. So, yeah, it's pretty much hot here too. 5 stars says it's 92. I don't even know what it is right now here. I have no idea. I know Aunt E had been having some trouble with rain.
92 degrees for 5 stars.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, it's 91 here.
Rose says 94 in Illinois. That's pretty hot for Illinois.
Yeah,
I would say.
And Mama Rissa says they're going live on July 9th.
July 9th. Okay,
yes.
Great. So Yeah, that's always must see live streaming if you are following the Sebastian Rogers case for sure.
Yes.
So I'm just curious. So we're at 91 degrees right now, is what they're saying on my phone.
And BMW Coop says, weather app says, feels like 101. Well, it's certainly been hot here. We had our neighborhood celebration yesterday, and it was certainly hot for that. And we had an early morning traditional 4th of July bike parade this morning, and it was pretty hot for that too. Hello, Just Jana. Welcome in. Happy 4th. We weren't sure we were going to be able to make it today. We have we actually, as soon as we're done here, we'll have another activity for the 4th that we'll be attending. So it is what it is. Says gave some orange hearts. Thank you so much.
It is what it is.
We appreciate. Oh, what did I say? It is what it is. What did I say?
You did.
Oh,
I was just
okay.
repeating it. I was just reading it.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. We appreciate the orange hearts and everybody thinking of our son. I guess Auntie, she really does have a house full. She's got all of her kids there and all of their dogs, minus one, because we're watching one dog. So you're muted.
Sorry about that. My
That's okay.
auntie one that doesn't like fireworks. It's thundering, and he's just not happy. And then all the kids left to go run an errand, and so now I've got all the dogs. So it might get a little crazy.
Yes, I was just saying that we had our celebration last night, and after we get done here, when it gets dark, we'll be headed to another one. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah,
We've got spotty showers and rain showers heading in for a few hours, and then it's supposed to clear up about 9. So I figure our neighborhood will get busy with fireworks about that time.
well, I don't want to brag, but the place we're going tonight's making butterbeer.
Oh, fun.
I know. And that's not real beer, guys. That's Harry Potter, like a butterscotch drink. So I'm really, really excited about the butterbeer.
I've seen a lot of butterbeer flavored things out in the stores. Like I've seen some ice cream. I've seen some different Teddy Grahams or something. They had Teddy Grahams that was butterbeer flavored, Harry Potter flavored. And I thought that was interesting.
I was really pushing for the frozen butterbeer. So we'll see if that happens.
Just Jana says rainy and flooding here in South Central Texas, Hill Country, Guadalupe, river flooding, and lots of missing people.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well,
That's
stay
not
safe,
fun.
Jana. That's scary.
Missing because of the flooding, or is that a separate?
I don't know.
Well,
I hadn't heard
look it
about it. But of course, we actually have not been online much at all the past few days. So after our marathon Tuesday, we have not been online.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I guess. It's really bad. So I guess according to the Daily Mail, with the river flooding, this says at least 13 people have been killed and hundreds more are feared missing after historic floods inundated a Texas county. 23 people are missing from Camp Mystic in Hunt, Texas.
Oh, my God.
After the Guadalupe River flooded and surged up to 30 feet above its usual water levee Friday. The names of those killed have not been shared, but the final death toll is expected to rise substantially as floodwaters recede. And the identities of the missing have begun to emerge as stricken families share photos of their loved ones in the hopes of learning information about their whereabouts. Officials have stressed that they hope to rescue many of the missing and say they're still hopeful of finding most of those missing safe and well, but the sheer scale of destruction with buildings ripped from their foundations and cars swept away like toys suggests that may be an overly optimistic prediction.
Oh, my goodness.
That's terrible.
4 young girls, 4 teenage friends, and 3 generations of same family among missing as death toll hits 13.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. So that's horrific.
Oh, that's awful.
So these are the missing.
Oh, my gosh.
That's horrible.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard this.
Well,
let's
let's just talk about it.
Okay, so identities have not. Camp Missing is a Christian camp.
Oh my gosh.
So this says 6 people so far have been confirmed dead, but none of their identities have been shared, of course. Camp Mystic, a Christian camp, was photographed being evacuated as a year's worth of rain fell in an hour, but not everyone made it out in time. Around 20 summer camps lined the banks of the Guadalupe River in Kerr County and is feared other young. Oh, what a nightmare. feared other youngsters and counselors may have been swept away by the sudden surge of filthy brown water. Hundreds of people are believed to be missing. It is feared the final death toll will soar far above the 6 victims. Well, so this was an older. So here's some of the missing kids, I guess. Maybe
Oh
at the
my
camps or
gosh.
working at the camp. Oh, wow.
Can you
How
imagine?
awful.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Well,
I
let's
mean,
all say a
I had
prayer.
no idea about that.
Yeah, let's all say a prayer for these families and for the missing. This is just
Man,
horrific.
that is just
What a nightmare.
Imagine how helpless you're feeling knowing your kids at the camp.
I know, and you don't know.
That's going on, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, let's
Wow.
all take a moment and say a prayer for
A year's
for
worth
them.
of rain in an hour. It's unimaginable.
We had something similar years ago, but it didn't do, in Nashville, remember? Years and years ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the big flood here where all of downtown was underwater basically up
to like
everywhere.
2nd Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole city was underwater.
Oh my goodness.
But we didn't have, I don't even think we had up to 13 that died from that.
Oh, I don't think we had many at all.
It was mostly people kind of like after, you know what I mean? Like,
after the fact.
right.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't because of the rushing waters.
Yeah. But I had a friend in that flood that got, he woke up and got washed out of his house during the flood and he grabbed a fence.
I do not know this story. You can't tell me.
I can give you a first name, Pat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was he out there?
No, he was home. He was at his
okay.
home and he was upstairs. When he came down, his whole downstairs was flooded. And then he got swept out and he was like shooting out through the, out into the yard, the streets, and somehow got a hold of a fence. And that saved his life.
Oh my goodness.
So, that water's so crazy powerful and people think they can drive through it and all these things happen, but the situation with the kids.
I can't imagine. I mean, we just sent our kids to camp a couple of weeks ago. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I'm so sorry. And we'll be adding all of these families to our prayer list for sure.
How awful.
Let's see.
Well, yeah, so that's just terrible. Yeah, so that sounds like that might be dozens, maybe hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Because if a camp gets cut off,
I can't imagine. There's kids of all ages there.
Right. I mean, they're just not going to be equipped to. Right. So.
I did want to real quick. Everybody was talking about the butter beer. So butter beer is Dreaming in Blue Skies says it's a frozen beer. The frozen beer is delicious at Universal Epic. We had it a few weeks ago. Like you said, it's not really beer. It tastes like butterscotch. I hear the butterbeer crepes are good too. I did not know they made butterbeer crepes. That's interesting. And
look at Angel Lyons, 74 degrees in upstate New York. Just rubbing it in for all of us. So
74 would be
that'd
beautiful
be lovely
today.
right now.
It would be lovely.
So welcome in, Angel, and Sarah Suspicions and PJ. Good to see you too.
And 5 stars. Did we already say hi to 5 stars?
Yeah. So lots of our.
We didn't figure a lot
in.
of people would be online today, but we just wanted to go ahead and spend our day with you guys. We've been or spend our afternoon with you guys. We've been, like I said, doing a lot of activities and just kind of taking a break. It's kind of we have a day off today from our regular job too.
People might be cooling off a bit before they go do their 4th of July stuff tonight.
That's
so it's not a bad time, I don't think, to do this. But
how's the weather where you guys are?
Hot. It's 91.
Oh, it's not that hot here.
We've had some other stuff I haven't even talked to you about because you've been busy with your kids. But we've had kind of a weird day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with your daughter's dog. So
okay, good.
No,
the dog's
you have to tell her that story real quick.
About so so if you don't know, we've got 2 dogs and we're watching my niece's dog, Auntie's daughter's dog right now because she's visiting Auntie.
Right.
And it's an older Dachshund.
Adorable.
Yeah, he's a great dog. I hadn't been around Oliver much, but he's a very good dog. But our dog Bailey, and they've had some barking going back and forth. They're trying to do the dominant stuff, So it was just me with the dogs, and I sat down on the couch, and all 3 dogs tried to pile in my lap, and then Oliver and Bailey got into it, barking at each other like real loud. So I just kind of hopped up, and they were just really going at it, barking, not biting, but just in each other's faces, barking. I was like, I'm just going to let this play out instead of breaking it out. Almost kind of the way horses kind of have to do their dominance thing and
Right.
just see what happens. And so Oliver pinned Bailey down, like with his paw, like on Bailey's chest, and was just over him. But he did like that horse thing,
It was like a
the
side eye.
the
He
side
did the
eye.
side eye
He
thing
did the
to him.
side-eye thing to him and just held him there. And Bailey's just,
It was
which I really
fantastic.
didn't expect. I didn't, because Oliver doesn't move around great.
Yeah,
No,
he's
he's
an older
getting
dog.
old. Yeah.
He walks like a duck or like a penguin or something.
Yeah,
He
he
wobbles.
he wobbles back
Yeah.
and forth. The
Yeah.
long-haired dachshund. I mean, he's supposed to be what they call a tweener. He's not like a full-size dachshund. He's not a mini dachshund, but he's kind of chubby, of course. But he gets around really good for his age. But he's got that dominance thing down. He's hilarious.
The way he did that side-eye thing to
It was
Bailey,
like what you would
like that.
see on a meme.
So, I mean, it was
So-
like, are you done? Are you finished? It was
Right.
like that kind of thing. And they've actually been a little better since then.
Well,
a
and
little.
when ours are together, off of that's not at either one of our houses, they behave better than if like we come to your house. Charlie is really bad, and then it's like they don't want to get along. But then when they're all in a neutral territory, they seem better.
That's true.
They got along great at the beach, and then when we come to visit you, it's like fiasco.
Yeah, they're doing okay right now. You're not hearing any barking in the background. The first day it took a little bit, but we're doing better.
Blitz is struggling because he's high anxiety and
he's a rescue dog. You need to explain that.
Yeah. He was taken back to the pound 4 times. And my son saw him, and they just went to look at dogs when he was in college, and he and his girlfriend went, and they just wanted to play with the dogs and visit. And then they just had this complete connection with Blitz. And my son's like, can I get this dog? And I'm like, you're in college. You do not need a dog. You can't handle a dog in college with class and leaving him alone. I said, you don't know what you're getting into. And so he said, okay, they left. Then they couldn't stand it. And they went back the next day and got him. And he's very, 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 very needy. He's terrified of storms. He's terrified of thunder and fireworks. Oh my gosh, fireworks. But he's not just terrified. I mean, he shakes uncontrollably. He hides. It's terrible. So we've got him medicated today to kind of calm him down. He's still, really struggling. So hopefully we'll get through the night, but he's like at my feet, laying on top of my feet right now, shaking. And I had to put my dog out to the other part of the house because she wants to bark at him for wanting to be next to me. So, and everybody's gone right now. So, Granny's asleep and my husband's out back by the pool, and so it's just kind of crazy, but he's just shuddering right now. My feet are trembling because he's like laying on them and shaking. It's so sad.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's what you get into at the rescue.
Well, before we get into everything, I just want to say welcome everybody else who's just joining us. I see we've got Rhonda Smith. Good to see you. Nana's Dragonfly. Great to see you too. Rosebud here says, happy 4th all. Just dropping by while sipping wine and cooking short ribs.
Ooh.
Fireworks later in our secret spit to avoid crowds for the boys so they can enjoy it. Love to all.
Aw.
That's what we should do one year, is the ribs thing instead of just the cheeseburgers.
Oh, we had a great meal today, though. We had cheeseburgers, hot dogs, homemade mac and cheese, baked beans, corn on the cob. I mean, we were just stuffed. And now we were like oh, we don't even want dinner. Like we had such a big lunch, we don't even want dinner.
So I'll tell you what we're planning today. We're going to do, and we're doing this weekly kind of recap of true crime. We're going to go over kind of the biggest stories of the week, kind of our takes. There's some news, of course, with the Kohberger, the P Diddy thing, a little bit of an update on Summer Wells, actually. Another missing person found, and then a couple of things that you all don't know about yet. And I just kind of want to see
surprise us.
Yes, surprise stuff. We don't even know.
I think I might start doing it that way, where you all don't know what we're going to
So
talk
you
about.
get like
True reaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not true, but just more like real
But
time.
there's also an update on an extremely cold, famous case we're going to get into.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that'll be fun.
Okay.
And then, but we also want to start. We decided every time we do these two, I want to do a missing person.
Okay.
So this is one that I think Aunt Dee sent to me that was
Yes.
really interesting. So if you haven't heard this story, this man is Bryan Terrence. He's from Manhattan and disappeared while on vacation. So I'm just going to read the article here and kind of look at the face. He could be. There's a lot of possibilities here. So a Manhattan man on a romantic anniversary getaway with his wife mysteriously disappeared from an Airbnb on a lush Caribbean island and is now the subject of a massive search. His name is Bryan Terrence, 51 years old, was last seen on security video leaving the rental home on Turks and Caicos Island around 3:30 a.m. June 25th, and heading for a bustling tourist area. Private investigator Carl DeFazio told Fox News. So far, we haven't been successful in anything, but we're not giving up hope, said DeFazio, a former NYPD cop and U.S. Marine hired by the missing man's family. What I tell the family in cases like this, stay positive until you have a reason not to be. Well, that was actually something I missed when I first read this. So 3:30 in the morning is weird.
Right.
It is weird.
So that's kind of strange. So here's a little still from the video footage. I mean, it's kind of hard to see, real grainy, but anyway, it says everything prior to the point where he walked out of the house, he seems fine. The private detective told News 12. They had a boat trip and went to dinner, just like every other family would do when they're here. Terrence graduated from Florida Atlantic University and since June 2023 was vice president at Diligent Software, a Manhattan firm that specializes in information sharing technology, according to his LinkedIn. We are deeply concerned about our team member, Bryan Terrence, who has been reported missing, the company said in a statement to the Post. Our thoughts and prayers are with Bryan and his loved ones during this extremely difficult time. So he's living in, I'm just going to so where he's disappeared is Turks and Caicos. He's been married for a year and they were planning on being there between June 22nd through the 29th. He disappears on the 25th. This says Terrence was last seen leaving the Airbnb wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and sneakers. Here's their missing person flyer. Let's see if I can enlarge that a bit.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix this real quick. Nightbot's going rogue. I just want you guys to know.
Oh, really?
It's like blocking.
Oh my gosh. Why does it say at Shirley, I'm not scared?
It's like talking back to people.
Oh my
really?
goodness.
It's acting crazy.
It says blacklisted spam. Wonder what that means.
I don't know.
Was Nightbot a sleeper cell?
I don't know. I'm turning it off though. I'm turning off the. I don't know what happened.
She did at Nightbot, and whatever when she did that, it just went nuts.
Yeah.
Huh.
It went rogue. Okay, sorry, Shirley. How weird.
What did Nightbot do to Shirley?
So
it says, I'm not scared.
It says jackpot, blacklisted spam warning to Shirley. All she did was like some hearts and hugs and some flags. It wasn't a big deal, right? And then Nightbot says jackpot, blacklisted spam warning to Shirley. And then Shirley says to Nightbot, she tries to give it a hug. And then Nightbot says, I'm not scared. Blacklisted spam. So Shirley, I apologize. I turned it off. So
all this AI and robots are going to kill us all, aren't they?
Yeah, they
Yes.
are.
They really are.
Yeah,
Nightbot's going to take us all down. So weird.
Oh, here we go again. Okay. No,
And what I was going to say about Turks and
no,
Caicos,
no.
Turks and Caicos is usually a very, very safe Caribbean area to go to. I have
Right.
some elderly people that I have worked with before that I know, and they go to Turks and Caicos a lot. They felt it was very safe. They actually used to own a house there, and they love Turks and Caicos. It's one of their favorite destinations because it's so safe. So I thought this was really odd.
I do too. So I'm going to read a little of the pertinent information that might be valuable. So he is from Georgia. He was at the Paradise Inn, Grace Bay Provincials at Turks and Caicos Island. That's where I guess that's where his.
That's the local.
resort
That's
was.
an area of the island. It's called the Providencials.
He is a male with brown hair, medium build, and last seen on June 25th.
So they were in an Airbnb though, correct?
Yes, a house,
Okay.
I think, or Airbnb. And also,
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting. He's like a president of a company or a
Right.
VP, something like that.
I think it's a weird situation.
Vice president at Diligent Software.
That's
So
terrible.
here's the couple there. So the things he took with him are his cell phone and wallet. And he's having trouble getting the cell phone stuff because it's out of the country, of course, for
Yeah,
the PI.
Of course.
So it's kind of,
I just thought this was a really interesting case.
It is because I mean, anytime people wake up and their loved ones aren't there, it's
But that's such an odd time of the night to leave. I mean, it's not. If it was 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock or even 10 o'clock, you think, oh, he just was running out to get something or do something. But 3 a.m. is a very odd time to leave.
And maybe, and they don't say that they know why he left or anything.
Mm-mm.
And if that was common for him to kind of go for walks in the middle of the night or anything like that, we don't know. But it looks like his wife is staying there for now, trying to find him.
well, yeah.
And if you've seen this man, or have any information, of course, you could contact 911 or Crime Stoppers at that number can't be right. 1-800-8477. So that's a typo. I think Crime Stoppers no, I guess it is. They say it here too. 1-800-8477.
Let me see.
It's an untraceable phone call.
Oh,
I've
I
never heard
think
of
that's
that.
got to be.
That's what the flyer says.
Yeah, I think that's a typo.
Maybe it's up here too. No, it says it on this flyer also.
Okay.
1-800-8477. Well, either way, just call authorities. Yeah, so two different, or you could go to. I've never heard of that.
And Turks and Caicos is
1-800
not that
number.
large.
No, it's not.
So,
Um,
I mean, and there's really, the last update was just saying that there's no update. The last thing I read was like on the 2nd.
Yeah, nice.
And there's just not been anything.
So there's a few things I would kind of think there.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too, Nicey Marie. I'm like, it sounds a little weird to leave that time of the night. But I'm sure he realized there's security cameras. So, he just walked out and literally disappeared. And they said he was a very smart guy. I read that in another article that he was very smart.
He'd have to be.
Yeah.
To be in that position. So, it could be one of those where he's making himself disappear to start a new life for whatever reason. Those things happen. Could be an accident. I mean, when there's an ocean, people get swept
But he was
away
headed.
sometimes.
I'm sorry.
He was
What time of
headed
night was
inland.
it?
3:30 a.m.
Weird. It's a weird time.
And to not tell your wife, "Hey, I'm going to the store," or
the stores aren't going to be open at 3:30
yeah,
a.m.
yeah.
So where was he going?
We've stayed on islands before. They're worse.
They kinda
than,
shut down.
They're worse than a small town.
Yeah,
They'll shut down completely.
I mean, that's the real question: is where he was going. What was his plan? And so far,
it makes you wonder if there wasn't something else up.
Yeah, meeting someone to party, that kind of thing.
You just never know.
You don't know. But if he was just going for like a late night stroll, there are people that do stuff like that, or going to grab a snack somewhere. I don't know. Maybe he'd been drinking all night and was just going to the liquor store to buy another bottle. Who knows? You never know when people are on vacation. It could be anything.
Well, and the area. Go ahead.
I was going to say, hindsight says it is a real number, mystery. Calling 800-877 allows individuals to share their information about crimes without revealing their identity.
8477. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I just didn't realize there were ever 800 numbers without the 7 digits after.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, that place that they were staying, that Grace Bay Providencial, or however you say it, that is like the safest area of Turks and Caicos, and it's a very touristy populated area. So it's not a place, and it's, like I said, it's known to be very safe.
You know me, I won't rent. I wouldn't rent an Airbnb on an island. I'd stay at a resort just because.
I know people that do it successfully,
Yeah.
I wouldn't though on a Caribbean island. I know some people that were just recently in Exuma,
Mhm.
and they did Airbnb, had no problems. But I always say, you're better off when you stay at resorts where there's people, where there's security. That's just kind of, I recommend that. I always recommend that.
I think I've got too much light on my face because I'm actually really tan, but I look like I'm a ghost. Look at me. I'm really
Yeah.
tan, which is it's
It
bizarre.
might be the wrong setting on this light.
I
here.
guess I'm bright as can be.
Yeah, you're
just
definitely more
realized
tan
that
than that appears.
I'm way more tan. Well, anyway, you guys are not chatty.
No, well,
No, not a lot.
I mean,
It's
what
okay.
is there to say? He's missing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like be on the lookout for him. And the reason I wanted to share is this is, to me, there's like the three most likely is an accident, which is probably the most likely, but something, because whenever you got the ocean around, you just think maybe he went down to the beach and got out a little too far and swept away at night, and that kind of thing. Of course, he might have been mugged or jumped or
you just never know,
something along those lines, something like that.
Well, it's just not a great time. I always told my kids this growing up. Nothing good ever happens after midnight.
Of course,
and then that was our philosophy.
But I also think that you can't rule out the idea that he's a person that wanted to disappear and start a new life.
Right.
He's got the money and means to have done that if that's what he wanted to do. You just never know what. And so he putting his face up, he might emerge somewhere. He could emerge anywhere. So, that's kind of why I wanted to highlight it.
Dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches, we never leave the resort unless it's with an official chartered excursion when we are visiting places like that. That's how I am.
Well, and it's always good to check to where the warnings are for travel and to stick to the resorts. And that's what they'll tell you. The embassies will tell you, don't, always check where you're going and what you're doing and what the rating is. And I always recommend not doing that.
But I will say one time when we went to St. Martin, we rented a Jeep and we drove around in a Jeep all around St. Martin by ourselves. Had no idea what we were doing. Just follow it. It was crazy. We had a really good time though. It was a lot of fun. The kids found a French, on the French side, they found a French toy store and they loved it. Because everything was in French. Like all the Disney movies were in French. They loved it. But so we did the opposite of what you're supposed to do on a family vacation.
I guess we did.
We've done that a few times. Remember the time in the Bahamas when we got?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, if you ever go to the Bahamas, you don't want to leave. You don't want to venture too far alone.
We made a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, we made a mistake on one of our excursions. That was an official excursion when we went to on that mountain. Yeah, on the mountain.
Tortola, or was it
Tortola?
It was Tortola. It was St. Martin, wasn't it? When we thought we were going to die.
It was Tortola.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you. I was laughing hysterically.
We were
so upset.
We were on a cliff and like literally you could see the rocks like falling off the edge of the road. And then it's a 1-lane road and we meet like a gigantic truck. And I'm like,
that happened.
Yeah, we drove around Tortola.
Yeah, we did that. That was fun.
We had a cab driver. We paid him like $20 or $50, and he drove us all over the island. The highlights. It was great. But no, we
don't recommend that.
We were in this open air bus, like no doors.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The tour vehicles they have there going to the beach. Not in Tortola, was it?
Yes, we went to the beach in both.
I don't remember going in Tortola. I don't know.
Tortola, yeah.
I thought we just went shopping in Tortola.
No, we rode up this gigantic mountain. Remember, we went up in the mountains and there were chickens and
yes, because I already knew what was going to happen because I'd been there before.
It was horrible.
Right. Well, anyway, she was terrified. We were going to, just fall off this, or fly out.
Yeah,
quite frankly, and
we weren't the only ones scared.
And people were losing their mind. And I was laughing because I had done it before. I'd been up in those roads before, and I was laughing my head off. And because she was very scared. It was
Yeah.
funny.
I did not like it. And I don't usually get that alarmed by stuff like that. But no, thank you. I
That's-
would not do that again.
Gosh, that's been almost what 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that. 8 years ago.
No, I think I had already retired.
Had you?
I think so. It was right after I retired, actually.
We went on Easter because, well, a long story, but anyway, we'll get back to it. Sorry, we didn't mean to get off track.
It's okay. So we probably the biggest story of the week is the Bryan Kohberger plea, and so I'm sure most of you are aware that happened.
Did you watch
on
it all the
Wednesday.
way through?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I felt like I was watching one of these movies that, you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we knew he was going to plead and everything, but boy, it was fascinating. It was fascinating.
What were your?
Well, tell us about it.
Tell
because
us your key
we
takeaways.
legitimately have not had time.
I've read
Well,
about it.
one
but
thing
not
I
watched it.
didn't like about it is I thought the judge really was trying to make it about himself and how people were trying to contact him with letters and phone calls. And, they basically don't open that, but he was like scolding people for contacting him about their views on the case and what he should do as far as his rulings. I guess I thought that he spent way too much time on himself and that it should have been about, him and who was writing him letters and everything. But I think the thing that really for me was when the prosecution went over the details of their evidence. They went over the case and basically why they were wanting to seek the death penalty for him and why they were wanting to seek his conviction. And so they basically went over what the evidence was that they had. They didn't go over witnesses specifically, but evidence that they had. And so I thought it was interesting hearing about the evidence and what they had DNA wise, where it was, what was located there. It was very, very, very interesting. The biggest piece of evidence that was the most interesting to me was on the sheath of the knife that was placed next to Maddie. They were able to tell that the DNA evidence that his DNA was on that sheath. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing was they took the garbage from his parents and and went through the garbage looking for stuff. And on a Q-tip in their garbage, they found that that there was a Q-tip with, I guess, blood residue or something on it that was tested and found that the DNA matched the father of one of the students that was murdered. So they basically could tell that DNA could only have gotten there through him being at the apartment and having acquired, something with her DNA on it, and they identified it to the father of I think it was
Wow.
I thought it was very interesting. That was one thing that I was like, whoa. I mean, they had a lot of evidence to say that he did it. And I know that they had the DoorDash driver that was not even mentioned, but I know that was key in the days right before leading up to the trial beginning to start, that had come out that they had that driver that could put him at a house.
Yeah. So, I mean, it gave the people some answers about how things played out, the order and how, especially about, is it pronounced Xana?
Mhm.
Is that how she pronounced? Exactly how that happened with her and, that Ethan was asleep in these different details. The big controversy, of course, coming out of the Kohberger plea deal was whether or not it should have happened in the first place. So so that's why I'm highlighting Dreaming of Blue Skies here, because she's on one side of that argument. Unbelievable they accepted a deal. My heart breaks for the families. Many wanted to go to trial and have been preparing for over 2 years, now deserved the right to go to trial.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought what I do is all four families have had a statement of some kind regarding this. So let me thought it would.
While
pull
you're
it
pulling
through.
that up, I'll read this statement too. T. Thompson said, I agree the judge was a bit on his high horse. I know people are crazy, but the right to speak our mind is a huge right, and no one can tell me not to address them. They have the right to not listen. And I think that's what most judges have to do. They can't open mail, they can't listen to messages, and they direct their clerks or whatever to, if they do and they are exposed to people's opinion, then they often have to recuse themselves from the case because it can jade their opinion of what's going on. So I know most of the time they don't open that, or they're not supposed to.
And I wanted to say hello to Tennessee Nurse. Welcome in. It's nice to see you. Happy 4th of July. Cindy Ferguson said it looked to me like he had dyed his hair and dyed and shaved his eyebrows. That's weird. Yeah, I thought his
Yeah.
haircut was odd. It didn't look like his normal
Who,
haircut.
Kohberger?
Yeah. And Nicey Marie said Mr. Thompson drank his water and got choked. He wasn't crying about the victims choking on his water, not the victims. And it is what it is, says the judge said Xana's name wrong both times he said it. That was so disrespectful. That judge was awful that day.
Yeah, I really didn't like his little preaching segment before. But I was enthralled. I mean, I was enthralled with it. It was really fascinating. Another thing that kind of struck me is how monotone he was in every response he gave. Guilty, guilty, guilty. I mean, he had no emotion. He was just like a robot.
Joanne McNeil, happy 4th of July to you. Oh, they had their Canada Day on July 1st. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend as well. And then Dreaming of Blue Sky says a plea should have been discussed early on with the families of it was going to happen. Why put the family through 2 years of preparing for a trial to suddenly go to plea? I agree.
So I'm going to read the statement from the Goncalves family, who did want the trial, and we'll actually all 4 families have had a statement of different kinds. So today was the day for answers, the day to find out what happened, to find out really anything about what the defendant did that night and why he took the lives of 4 beautiful people. At least that's what we hoped for, but hope is really all we had today. The plea started off with a judge who was angry about people reaching out to him and then went further to stand on his soapbox, stating nothing affects his decisions in this case or any other case, and he has not and will not read any comments. Maybe that wasn't the best way to start a plea involving the murder of 4 Idaho college students. Our hope is that the judge might reflect back on his decisions today and take the high road next time and not make the plea of a murderer about him and his decisions. Maybe he will show some empathy to the victims' families who have been in this torture chamber for over 2 years while he only became involved a few months ago. Then the plea began with the defendant claiming responsibility for his actions with one-word responses. All were sufficient for the court and the prosecution team because that is what this plea was about today, the court and the prosecution, a plea that makes everything go away for them and lets them get back to their normal routine. This plea did not represent the victims' families. It represented an easy way out and no answers. Everyone loves the justice system until you get involved in it. Then you really see that most of the time the cases and resolutions have nothing to do with the victims. At least that was our experience. We will move on to sentencing and will be hopeful that the court will allow for some much needed grace moving forward. And finally, the family won't have to deal with the bumbling Latah County prosecution team. Once again, we want to thank everyone for the continued support and prayers and appreciate everyone that has gone on this journey with us. And they had the other statement that came out before where they were very unhappy about the idea of going forward with a plea deal. Xana's family had a similar take on it. I want to share a brief statement ahead of the plea deal. The defendant
didn't switch over.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it says, I want to share a brief statement ahead of the plea deal. The defendant is expected to officially enter tomorrow. I do not agree with this outcome and expressed my concerns before the deal was negotiated, especially regarding what I believed would be the best capital punishment. After nearly 3 years of waiting and being told there would be a trial with evidence presented to convict him, I'm disappointed in the prosecutor's decision. It's incredibly hard to accept that a trial won't be happening. I had hoped the agreement would include conditions that required the defendant to explain his actions and provide answers to the many questions that still remain, especially where evidence is missing or unclear. I also believe this was a missed opportunity to set a stronger precedent for how accountability should be handled in cases like this. It could have sent a message to others that these kinds of horrific crimes carry real consequences. Instead, 4 beautiful lives were taken, and the person responsible won't be used as an example to help prevent something like this from happening again. Xana is missed every single day. Her absence has left a hole in my life, and this decision only adds to that pain. Still, this week I'll be celebrating her life through Xanapalooza, honoring her birthday on July 5th by doing the things she loved most. As hard as this is, I'll continue to carry her light forward. Xana's story deserves more. From Jeff Carnodal. And that is something they're asking about tomorrow. So they're saying that to kind of celebrate her, just do something fun and enjoy life on July 5th. That's her birthday. So they're calling that Xanapalooza, which is nice. So they both, those two families kind of shared that same opinion. But then the Mogan family had a different kind of take on it here. They say our family continues to ache for Maddie, and we have spent well over 2 years grieving and focusing on healing from the trauma of losing her. The plea deal the prosecution has proposed is one that punishes the perpetrator of this horrendous crime, protects the public from further harm, and allows all of us who knew and loved these 4 young people the time to grieve without the anxiety of the long and gruesome trial. Years of appeals and potential for mistrials along the way. We thank Bill Thompson and his team for their dedication and painstaking work that forced the perpetrator to admit his guilt. May we all protect our peace in whatever way possible, unite in community and focus on joy. Please do an act of kindness in Maddie's honor this week so a glimmer of Maddie's light may live on. And then
they had a really good, I thought, positive spin on it. The other ones you could tell they weren't happy, but I thought they were just very resolved in what happened and want to move forward with their lives. And I thought that was a nice, but I totally get both sides.
I do too. And apparently Ethan Chapin's family is kind of in line with Maddie's family. This statement's a lot more brief. I couldn't find a longer, release statement from them. There might be one, but I didn't see it.
All of them are making me really sad though.
Yeah. And it's a nightmare. So basically it just says in quotes, the Chapins will be in Boise tomorrow, July 2nd, in support of the plea bargain. And that's from Stacy Chapin, the mother of Ethan there. So, you've got 4 families and 2 different, 2 families feel one way, 2 families feel the other, and they're all valid. I mean, you feel how you feel about it. They all have a right to, none of us can imagine really being in this kind of situation at all, and they all have good points that they make.
Dreaming says it's not fair. He will get 3 hot meals a day and a cot for the rest of his life, which could be 50 plus years when he premeditated such a violent crime and took 4 innocent kids' lives. Just heartbreaking. Yeah.
But you have to realize too, it would automatically go to appeal. That appeal process and even the DP penalty could take up to 30 years to see it happen.
And then you have one governor that owes somebody a favor or something and does a stay of execution. Right. You just don't know what will happen.
Right. And to me, I think at least he had to say that he was guilty, that he did it. And I mean, his life's not going to be peachy, but ending to me, it's more torturous for someone to have to live 50 years in prison and never see the light of day. No chance of anything. And I feel like that the judge did talk a little bit about how much they could get in civil suit and that he could be sued. And I mean, so he's not going to have any quality of life, even though he is going to be able to be alive. I'm not so sure that that's always the best. And I don't think he's going to be well received by prisoners. They may off him like Jeffrey Dahmer, within a short amount of time. It was horrific.
Hindsight said it would have been easier to digest if he was made to give answers along with the plea, but unfortunately that's not how the law works. I agree.
Right. It would have been because the prosecution had to tell the whole case and what evidence they had. He should have had to at least say, he should have at least had to say, I did this. I know. I mean, more than just guilty, like a robot. He should have had to give them some explanation.
That's how I felt, but I don't know. I don't know.
And
That's
then,
how
and
I
then,
felt,
and,
though. I would
yeah.
have liked to, but I mean, is that my curiosity? You know what I
Well,
mean? Is that selfish of me to
but
want to know
is
the
it
answers?
right?
Why he
And is
did
it
it?
going to help
Yeah,
the families? Is it going to make the
right.
families
That's
feel
what
any
I mean.
better? No, nothing is.
I felt selfish feeling that way because I don't know. I
But
just
well,
felt
you want to
selfish.
get in his brain and want to think, what was he thinking? Why did he do this?
Oh, I
That was
bet. I
something.
mean, if I understand, and you watched the whole thing, but if I understand correctly, they did not say he couldn't write books or do interviews and
No,
stuff.
they didn't. I know someone said in Idaho you cannot do interviews from jail because they talked about that with what's her face, the one that we were talking about that was also
Banfield?
no the one that
Lori
suspended herself.
Vallow?
Lori Vallow,
Yeah.
yes. Another thing that was really interesting was what Shauna Butterfly Kisses said. The information about how meticulously Kohberger cleaned his car and house was very fascinating to me. And they literally said it was like showroom clean. And I believe that he had, a lot of stuff on him, but he also took classes and that talked about crime scene cleanup. That was part of what he was studying in college, and he was getting his PhD in crime analysis or crime scene analysis. And that, I mean, he knew exactly
Wasn't
how to
that his
clean it.
wasn't
was
that his final paper or something? Like
yeah,
his
he wrote a
thesis?
paper about yes, he wrote a paper about cleaning crime scenes.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that was really interesting. But just they said when they went in his apartment, they even said that in the description. That's why you really should go back and listen to the
I will.
prosecution.
We just
go over that little blurb about what happened in their evidence because it was very fascinating. But they said it was absolutely, his apartment was completely sparse. There was like literally nothing in it. And then his car was like, he said, you know how when you look in a car and sometimes you'll have dust and stuff down in your doors and change or anything, but
right.
they said it looked like he had taken Q-tips and razor blades and cleaned. I mean, it looked brand new. They said he had cleaned it and there was absolutely no evidence in that car of any kind whatsoever.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. They said there wasn't a speck of dust. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, Tennessee nurse had a question about tearing down the house.
Yeah, they've been kind of talking about it. So if you don't know this part, but they did tear down the house that occurred in, and
which is crazy.
Yeah, and so
I can't believe they allowed it.
What that tells you is that the university valued their reputation over justice for their students.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right.
I mean, I don't think they had any hand in it or anything like that. I don't think it was like a cover up or anything along those lines. I just think that they valued the university over the actual kids.
Yeah.
And that's gross.
Just Janice says he's going to be in a max security prison in Idaho. Let's see.
So there's been so he's going to be in the same one, it looks like, as Chad Daybell, they say.
I remember somebody saying that maybe him and Chad can hang out. And I was like, oh my gosh.
So I've been listening to a lot of people about this particular debate, whether or not this should have happened. And I appreciate a debate when I hear lots of smart people disagree with each other. And I've heard both sides. I've heard a lot of people take the side of the Goncalves family and Xana's family. And where they felt that the prosecution were cowards, that the victims don't get their voice. They took the death penalty off the table. This case was a slam dunk. They should have gone for it.
Right.
Trying to think what the other arguments are.
The interview room with Dr. Gary, that discussion was really interesting.
I didn't listen to that.
It's very good. Dr. Gary probably.
I did hear a little bit of it because I've heard.
This is what Dr. Gary studies.
Did Gary take that side of it? I'm guessing. He wanted it to go forward, or did he? I heard.
I felt like Chris was like.
Chris
you take a risk. You take a risk by doing that, and we're ensured that he's going to be paying.
Right.
And when you go to trial, you're taking a risk. Look at P Diddy. We hadn't even gotten into all that, right?
And you've got to look about what if you had one juror that did something wrong, just like the Murdaugh case that might have to be retried because of this one juror and this clerk that you know, could have influenced their decision. You have something small that happens and it gets thrown out, or you have to do a retrial, or he can't be tried again. And it's, you know, it would be horrible. Can you imagine? This is a done deal this way. He's going to jail for the rest of his life. He cannot appeal. There is no exception.
Yeah, that was kind of what Chris was saying. I think, you know, Dr. Gary's more fascinated with the man's mind, you know.
Okay, so another person I listened to on this that made a point that I hadn't heard anyone else say was Pat Brown.
I was going to say,
was talking about this, and she was saying, okay, so let's say he gets up there and has to explain why he did it. You can't believe him. He's a liar. He's a psychopath.
Right.
He may not even know why he did it.
Right.
And he, you know, these kind of people, these people that want to be famous for their killings, they'll say anything. They'll even claim crimes they never committed. Some serial killers do that. They'll claim they killed people they never had anything
just
to do
to have more in their tally,
just for the infamy. So if he gets up in because I think he wanted to be famous for this. I think
just
there's a
based
part
on
of
he idolized Ted Bundy, right?
I think he just wanted, you know, he thought he might go on and do this for a longer period of time.
I think he thought
I don't think this would have been his last.
I think he thought he was very smart, and this was just the beginning. So we think. I mean, there may be other cases out there that are unsolved that he's a part of.
I was going to say,
it's possible. It may not have been his
it's
first.
possible.
But, you know, so even if he got up there and tried to say why he targeted these women, you don't actually know this is the truth. So you don't really have answers. You just have whatever he says may or may not be true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that part of it really is not part of it. And
I wonder if he ever dated anyone, if anyone has ever had a relationship with him that's come forward to speak about it or anything.
I saw an article where it said his one and only childhood friend.
Oh gosh.
I was like,
I
one
just
and
wonder,
only?
because you really haven't heard from anyone publicly that really was friends with this guy. I mean, you would think someone that knew him, that was friends with him, if they had a story to tell, would have come out and said, you know, when he was, you know, blah, 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 blah. I think he thought he was smarter and that he was getting his background in this, and he was going to be able to, it was like this was something he was going to do, to make a habit of. And he was going to be this famous killer, basically. That's what I think. I don't know. I think there was a lot more to his mentality about it. And I think he thought he was really intelligent.
Well, I love shows like Dexter and things like that. But I think that I'm not sure that those are healthy for the masses.
Oh, I don't think it's healthy and there's so much on TV that's very unhealthy. And I won't even go into that.
That kind of makes a serial killer a hero. Do you know what I'm saying?
Somebody said that he told a girl on one of their dates she had good birthing hips. I hadn't heard that one.
Oh, that's funny.
I do remember I heard that somewhere.
I did not know that.
And here somebody says, I still think Bryan Kohberger, early teenage years, I think PA has a dark cloud over him. I still believe, in my opinion, more victims in PA. I wonder. I mean, I kind of wonder, were there more people early on? And then Shauna says that she agrees with me. He thought he could get away with it, and that he was too smart for everyone. I really think that's kind of where he was coming from. He thought he was above everybody and smart.
Yeah.
And hello, GTO guy. Saw you there. Just didn't want to interrupt. Oh, okay. Shauna Butterfly Kisses says, I did see an interview with a young man that used to jog with him. It had freaked him out of what could have happened to him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I mean, anybody.
I mean, you know, people had classes with him
a part of me really feels bad for his parents. I mean, they were there in the courtroom. They had to hear him say that what he did. And I mean, you know,
of course.
I mean, I mean, not that I think, you know, it's not their fault that he did it. I would hope. No. I hope that he wasn't raised so oddly as a child to make him behave the way he's behaved, or what, you know, the way he has turned out.
I
but-
think there's going to be more and more and more coming out about it. So,
Well, there will be documentaries and a lot more, and I think there'll be a lot of these families that will have a lot more statements now that once it's settled.
Well, I believe the documentary, isn't it today or tomorrow, that the one on Amazon?
Yes, I think so.
I think so.
And all of this stuff, if they'll remove the gag order, I'm assuming, right? So
No.
they won't.
I don't think they have.
No, but they will in the future.
Oh, it will be lifted. I believe the judge spoke about that.
Okay. I thought it was
I
still
can't
in effect.
remember. It will be through the sentencing.
Oh, okay.
Crochet
Why?
says,
Why? Why do
right.
they still have a gag order now?
I think they said once the sentencing is over, it would be released.
Well,
There was
see,
something
what
about
that's going to mean.
Why,
I mean, there's going to be book after book after book after book.
Well, yeah.
I
mean,
what was I going to say?
Ooh, Tennessee Nurse had a good thing.
Crochet says, I used to have good birthing hips and till menopause they disappeared. That's kind of what's happening to me, don't you think?
Yeah, you've just disappeared.
Yeah, I'm slowly disappearing. Okay, go ahead.
Tennessee Nurse says, I wish I had Dr. Gary on speed dial or Dr. Ann Burgess. If any of you have not watched her story on Hulu, you need to as soon as possible. She reshaped the FBI and crimes against women. She's too under-recognized.
okay.
Well, we will do that because
We
we're
have
always
Hulu.
looking for something good to watch.
We have Hulu right now.
And I'm just about over watching all of the arrests on the hidden files. I'm
Well,
getting tired of them.
and
They're
I will-
all about the same.
Yes. And I will tell you, Dreaming says, sadly, he has a huge following of people that think he's innocent. And you are right. There is a huge group. And I
That's
jumped in-
remarkable.
I had jumped in to listen to Betty today, and she was going off on people that shame on you that have thought he was, that he was innocent, because it's like they just want to jump on that bandwagon. There was the same
There's
way
always the anti people.
I think what's happened with YouTube on this, or all media, is that these people know he's guilty.
They don't care.
The influencers, they know these people are guilty, and they take the opposite side for the views and the controversy and all that.
I think we've seen that in Sebastian
I think that's
too.
what's going on.
I think we've
Yes.
seen that in every Summer Wells. I think we've seen it in everything.
Yeah, I don't think the followers feel that way. They're just, but the influencers are doing it because they know
People will watch because
Controversy.
they're angry, and people will watch because they support it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's gross. But I think that's what's going on. with
And
most of them.
didn't Idaho have the ability? It was a firing squad. Wasn't
Yes,
that
it
the
was.
means? Okay, because somebody said, in my opinion, if the states would start giving out the same that people do, I guess the same way that how they kill people, a lot of this would stop. Like if BK knew he was going to get took out the same way, he might have thought twice. I agree. But I mean, he knew that firing squad. I mean, that's pretty brutal. I mean, I don't think it matters at that point.
I'm okay with them getting in appeals, but they can't. This thing where these death penalties are going on for 20 and 30 years has got to be stopped.
Right.
It's got to stop. It's got to be, you get one appeal or something, and it's done.
It can't be like indefinite.
Yeah,
Right.
This
One
kind
of
of situation's not right.
One of the things I remember though was with Timothy McVeigh. He waived all appeal, and he wanted to die, and he went through. Remember Timothy McVeigh?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. He was the one. I mean, he just was like, I'm not going to appeal. I'm ready. And and so he's one of the few cases that got processed pretty quickly into that, and it was still years, but he was one of the few that it went quick.
I'm okay with an appeal because sometimes we get it wrong. I'm all right with that, but it can't go 30 years. That's too long.
Well, and you've got these
Right.
other the group. What is it? The Innocence Project.
These things are controversial too.
Yeah, I
though,
know.
because they will try to get guilty people free too.
I know.
So that's not a,
Yeah.
I
I know. I'm saying that.
It's
I'm not saying it as a positive thing.
Right.
It's a
Right.
very flawed system we have all the way around.
Crazy
And that's
city
why,
chickens.
that's why
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened. But
Sometimes if you pay or have it set up, sometimes it won't. You have to have it set up. Yeah, but we'll
Hi,
check.
Justice Jane.
She has a membership issue.
I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's YouTube and StreamYard have been just crazy the past week. I think they've been doing some updates and they're just not, mingling.
This is why I'm okay with the plea deal, because what if Kohberger got back on the streets? Mistrial, whatever. He gets back on the streets.
That's my biggest fear. It's not worth the risk.
There's a serial killer I read about in Nashville. His name was Tom Steeples, and he got out on bail and he killed again.
Look how little you look in your box. Sit up.
She said she tried rejoining on her phone and it takes it to nowhere. You pretty much, I think, have to do membership on your computer.
No,
don't you?
But
I think people have more success with it on their computer.
You can't take the risk.
Weird.
You got a chance
I'll send you another link you can try.
You have a chance to put him away.
He's
actually admitting that he did it. There's no appeals process. He's no hope of ever getting out. Even the families are split down the middle on what they wanted as an outcome. And really, there's nothing you can ever do for the families to really, even if they have the trial, are they really?
Does it really heal?
It's.
I don't know.
There's no good. So I think they did the right thing taking the deal. I think they did.
Well, and you think about and it's not about the money at all, but all of the preparation costs tons of money, but having the trial costs tons of money. And the process of the trial costs the state a lot of money. And when you've got somebody saying, I'm guilty, and, there's nothing other than the DP. He can't appeal. He can't do this. He can't do that. He pretty much is totally restricted from everything except getting off. Yeah. Other than that, everything else is taken away from him.
But I say that, but I do get other people having a different side on it, and that's fine.
I get both sides.
I'm conflicted. I really am. I want to see him behind bars no matter what, or not able to be in the world, depending on which way you look at it.
But what if there's like the free Bryan Kohberger movement outside the courthouse every day, and the jury's swayed?
Right. No, I agree.
Well, that's like Karen Reed. Karen Reed had people every day out there, saying she was not guilty. She had a huge following. I
actually think that's got to become illegal.
Right.
I think that having protesters outside of a courthouse in the sight of a jury's got to become illegal.
Well, I'm kind of starting to lean towards the Pat Brown idea too.
Yeah. Professional juries. I'm with that too. But if we're going to have this system, because you're not supposed to be able to even contact the jurors and they're not even supposed to watch television.
No,
right.
And
but we can have Karen Reed as innocent.
They can't even have their phones.
Whether they realize it or not, they're being influenced.
And that would have happened at Kohberger. All these YouTubers,
I think so too.
TikTokers, and everybody would have been out there leading their crowds
for
attention. And what if one of them was swayed and then they come back and let him go? I don't know. It's a messed up system. But anyway, so we thought that was, of course, the big case of the big story of the week that we wanted to kind of give our take on, I suppose. But kind of similarly, Sean Diddy was pretty big too.
That's a good question. Dreaming says, I wonder if the Karen Reed outcome, even though I think the jury made the right outcome, made the prosecution lean towards offering a plea deal to him.
Maybe.
You just never know.
You don't know.
I think with court cases, each one kind of impacts the next in those types of situations. And I think ultimately it's kind of like setting precedents with judges and juries and rulings. I think the outcomes of certain cases can influence the next case.
That is a ridiculous picture. I'm sorry.
I know.
It caught me off guard.
Well,
that's when he dropped and was like praying and so happy and blah blah blah.
No, I think I'm sorry, y'all. You may disagree with me, but I think injustice right here. This is crazy. I just can't believe. I can't believe it.
I won't even tell you the rabbit hole that I am in with this.
No, don't.
I'm not even going to tell you why I think it happened the way it happened. But he absolutely was guilty. And the RICO charge, though, is so hard to prove. That is like the hardest thing to prove. And I think that racketeering, that charge was very hard to prove. But you can't tell me he should have had more charges. There were minors there. There were children there. And none of that part was brought into this at all.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I suppose he could still be looking at other charges in other states and things.
I don't
in
know.
the future. I don't know, but
right.
what?
How long before he has another freak off, like a celebration?
Good night.
You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting.
Well, and what the whole thing is that it's a lifestyle, and they should be able to have whatever lifestyle they want. Well, yeah, you can have your own lifestyle, whatever you want, but there should not be children involved. Ever. There shouldn't be no minors. Everyone should be there of their own free will, and everything that happens. Not drugged, and unless they are the ones that want to take the drugs. But I don't think that's the way these things happen. I think these people were drugged. I think they were prostituted. I think all of that stuff happened, and I think children were taken advantage of. Were given drugs and alcohol underage. I mean, all of that should be criminal. And he wasn't even that. Lots of that stuff wasn't even part of the charges.
And I just want to welcome everybody to Mr. E's Crimecast, where we don't get monetized because of all the crazy things Aunt E says.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just kidding. Hindsight 2002 says, in my opinion, when he comes out, we all need to pray. I agree. And
I mean, just the video of him with that woman in the hallway at the hotel.
You can't. I mean, there's no denying that.
He can go away for as long as he wants, just for that moment, to me, and not just forget everything else.
Right.
If he's capable of that in that moment, then he's been doing that for the last 30 years, I would imagine, to countless.
Right.
Well, and he just pays them off. He pays them off. He pays their rent, and
it's gross.
That's what that's what they say is, but they agreed and they accepted those terms, and
yeah, but you know what? He also holds their careers, like these aspiring young artists that come. Oh, well, I can make you famous, but you got to do this for me. It's disgusting.
All right, you want to hear the other side of it?
Okay. Oh, the other side's
This
coming.
is the Pat Brown side also.
All right.
So she's taking the side of, but this is kind of what I'm kind of putting words in her mouth. So I'm kind of paraphrasing her take. She's like, our society's created this situation. We've made these things acceptable.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we have allowed, what is prostitution at this point. We have our OnlyFans is mainstreamed. We allow people to kind of sell themselves and make deals and do things, and we kind of act like it's all okay until it's not. We act like, oh well, everybody's an adult; they can consent and do whatever they want. But then sometimes we decide it's a crime, right?
Well,
society's lost all morals as far as I'm concerned.
That's what she's saying.
Well, and I
don't know why my voice keeps breaking up.
She's saying it's probably illegal.
I don't understand, though, how he can only be found guilty of those two charges, but yet they didn't let him out on bail. I mean, they didn't let him out.
Oh, that's where your rabbit hole is. That's what it is.
I think, is that what you're
No, that's not it.
Oh, well, do I even want to know for real?
Speculation.
Will it give me nightmares?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just, it's the reason for the ruling.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that later.
And I think all those tapes that were ascertained from the raids, I think they will are being used to hold over people's heads. I think there's a lot of stuff in there, and I think there's a whole lot more going on.
Crochet says, I want to know, just so you know. Aunt E, this is from Shauna Butterfly Kisses, our sweet Shauna. She says, Aunt E, disgusting. That is so true. It's so disgusting of what I have seen about Diddy. So much more than what was in the trial was done. Oh, absolutely.
Because how many people were not willing to come forward?
Right.
Well, and I mean, look at all the stars that were there. They saw it. They were participants in it. And then all the minors. And they're afraid of him. I believe he's already had people taken out. There are people that they say
all around.
And so they're afraid. They're afraid one of his, was it a bodyguard that says if he gets out, he's leaving the country because he knows he will be killed.
That's
he said that
crazy.
in an interview. He said, if he gets out, I'm gone. He said, I'm going to have to. He said, I won't make it.
GTO guy says, well, we're off to my father-in-law's, aka Shauna Butterfly Kisses dad. Have a great 4th, and remember, no drinking, no driving. You could spill your drink. Haha. Thank you, GTO guy and Shauna. We appreciate you guys so much, and have a safe and wonderful 4th of July. And let's see.
Oh, I didn't know so Dreaming of Blue Sky. Oh, well,
Oh,
we're
wait.
in hindsight first. The world of fame and money is unfortunately a place that some cannot handle without losing control of more than they thought they ever could.
Right.
Yeah. Because the world opens up to you. Every temptation and desire is suddenly available, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dreaming of Blue Skies in Sandy Beach, it says they said the night before he was taken into custody, they found proof that he was planning to do the same thing he was charged with in New York. That alone is reason to deny bail.
Oh,
That's good. I didn't know that. They say so. With the prosecution's looking at hoping for 4 to 5 years in prison, something along those lines. And
I
that's
believe
not long enough.
And this is also that lots of people think he was involved with Biggie and Tupac's.
I believe I'm with
Aladdin.
you, Dreaming. I believe that I believe these people all knew stuff and they got rid of them. So yeah, Crochet says unfortunately mostly a godless country now. Yeah, for
sad.
sure.
yeah.
Well,
so-
just the stuff that we've gone to, like these reality shows or reality game shows, like this Love Island. The kids were watching that today. I'm like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Right.
And-
It's just
And it's just
the lack of
mainstream.
morals.
It's just gross. It's gross.
We used to watch that in the early seasons, and was it Love Island?
Well,
I've never
it's more
seen
like
Love
a
Island,
game
haven't
show. It's got more strategy and everything.
We watched something like that. It's kind of like The Bachelor, but
Oh, I'm
like
sure we have.
like a million times worse.
But it's just the dumbest thing, and it's so. No wonder the kids are so messed up these days. I mean,
know.
the crap that they're exposed to with it, along with the social media issues and the social media and cyberbullying, and then you've got the whole aspect of just, I guess, being out of touch with what is reality. They see these shows and they think that's reality. It's not reality.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, we're parents of, kids and teens, and it's not easy. It's not easy to keep, them. I don't know. It's hard. The world, I don't know. What am I trying to say? The kids don't understand reality because vlogging and different things, they think that vlogs are real. Like this is somebody's real day-to-day life. There's so much social media that kids don't realize what is actually real.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, I've gotten kind of personally, and you're going to argue with me, but kind of disgusted with Facebook because with everything that's happened with our son, I do want to update people and give people information and stuff. But I started to kind of see through, I don't know if it changed me or what, but, everybody puts up their best on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The perfect life, the perfect vacation, the perfect pictures. And
I'm guilty of it too.
Well, yeah, but everybody likes to just like have, a family picture or whatever. But now it's become a competition.
Yes.
Whose family can look the most perfect.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. And I actually used to start, I don't know if you remember this, but I started posting pictures of like the worst pictures of our trip where the kids are looking different directions and
That's funny.
And making jokes about like if somebody's crying in the middle of it, just because that's the reality. That's what our world is. It's not always these picture perfect moments. By the way, remind me to send you the picture. Will you send it to her from today?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
a great one of Little E.
Little E, probably like 3 years old.
Oh,
with her elephant.
Oh,
I mean, it's precious, and it's not a perfect picture, right? I mean, it's precious, but it is so her.
It's so her at that age.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I just sent it in the Crime East group.
Okay.
I don't know. I just kind of got disgusted with Facebook. I don't even really want to look at it. So because it's either this like perfect stuff
God.
or it's right. It's the best picture.
He's so precious.
It's either this, like you said, the competition type stuff, or it's political, and I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I've got my political views. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
swayed at this point. I don't want to
Right.
hear it. I don't want to see it. So I just don't even get on it anymore. I'm mostly on YouTube when I'm online, and then maybe X second.
I've gotten to where I really like X the most because I think it's got a lot of newsworthy stuff, and you get it quickly, and that's kind of that's my news substitute now. And I follow people that are credible too, that are not going to be giving out false information or just randos. So, I feel like I'm getting some pretty good ones.
That's a good point. Dreaming says it glorifies lust, sadly. Yes. No self-control with these.
Yeah, no
These
self-control. Mm-hmm.
And hindsight says there shouldn't be a competition anywhere. I agree. And Just Janice says this day and age, even taking your kids to church is scary. There are so many trafficking. Thank you for situations through churches. I did not know that. I've never heard that. Thank you for the orange heart, you sweetheart. 5 stars. Thank you.
You just have to be so hyper aware of everything around you because of what's going on.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Okay, what's something we don't know about, Mr. E, that you haven't shared with us?
Hello, Detroit Rock City. Welcome in and happy 4th of July.
Well, yes, welcome in. Good to see you here,
Sorry,
Detroit.
I lean over like I'm on radio.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got. Well, you might have heard this one. I don't know. Have you heard the Summer Wells?
No.
I could. He blew my mind with this earlier because I didn't know this.
Nope, hadn't heard it.
So this is all I've got on it, but it's interesting.
Granny says send her the picture, so I'm sending it to her.
Tell Granny that she needs to become a member of our channel.
Oh no, she's in the. Yeah, I know.
Or Granny.
Granny's there.
There's Granny. Hi, Mama.
I'm sending it.
So of course this is Summer Wells. Now I'm missing for just over 5 or 4 years, and this is from the Don Wells family on X. So this is interesting. Posted yesterday. TBI update. We would like to thank the TBI for calling us and asking if they could come look over the road below our house. Thank you for not forgetting our daughter, Summer Moon, Utah Wells.
Do we know if that's really him?
I mean, it's their ex.
Are you sure?
You don't think it is?
I'm just saying. I don't know. It's weird. So, I'm sure somebody in our chat knows.
There's 2,900 followers, followed by Justin and Josh. All those people.
Okay.
It's findsummerwells.com.
Yeah.
So
tell tell her what they're doing though.
Well, if they're putting together, if they're doing another search and asking to come on their property, right?
Look over the road below our house.
Yeah.
They live on like a ridge.
Yes.
So that's interesting. 4 years in, they're coming back to the property, and that Don's posting about it. Obviously there's a reason they're doing it, right? Mm-hmm. They have a tip, an idea, something.
They must have some type of tip that she's there, right?
I think that a lot of people believe that she never came off the land, that she's on there somewhere.
But it looks like after all this time, they would have found it. They would have found evidence of that.
I know.
But they don't have evidence of her leaving.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, though. You would think if that's the case, why wouldn't they have evidence somewhere, clothing or something?
I think those are the most perplexing to me. Like Sebastian, Summer, there's no evidence of them leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just they
evaporated. Granny said, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
She said, so cute.
So, you kind of think this
that's
case
a good
might
idea.
Be cold at times. Yeah.
That's a great thought, Crochet.
And they talked about that with the Sebastian case as well, using that ground penetrating radar.
I have so many. I've gone so many different ways with Sebastian. I can't even. It's anyway.
So let's just say, depending on how you look at the Wells, I don't know what happened to Summer. I don't have a great theory about it. I just know that there's a lot of discussion on the possibilities. I've heard a lot of it. I don't have obviously Don's got his problems
Yes,
I mean, they've
for
had their
sure.
children taken away.
Sure.
What
All of
happened?
them.
I don't know.
How many did they have that were still with them that got taken away in total? Was it 3 or
I don't
was it more?
No.
5?
I want to think it was 5, but I'm sure someone in chat knows because I don't know a whole lot about
Yeah,
it.
this was before we really got into the cases. That one was one of the, I mean, I'd heard of it.
We haven't really, and I keep promising him, Mr. E, that he can show me the Chris McDonough and get my reaction to it because he thinks I'm going to be just mortified. We never take the time to actually do it. Maybe we should just do that one offline and make it a video.
No, we do that real time. Real time. So
Yeah, because I haven't watched it either.
yeah.
Oh,
we'll do it
well,
together sometime.
you will have a reaction, believe me. Just based on what I already know, you're going to have a big reaction to it.
Candace has had 5 taken away and 1
Right.
missing.
Right.
So
6 total.
Whatever way you think of Don, let's say you think Don's innocent of this, so completely no knowledge, no idea what happened. Then of course the statement makes sense. Like, we would like to thank the TBI for calling us and asking if they could come look over the road below our house. Thank you for not forgetting our daughter's summer moon, Utah wealth. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If he has some knowledge, guilty knowledge, knows what happened, was involved or whatever, then this is the kind of statement you're putting out to get ahead of whatever he thinks they might find. I would think. Right? Because why else if you're guilty, what else are you going to do?
Right.
You want
I mean, I would think, I get what you're saying, because I would think they would be kind of aggravated. Like, why are you just now coming out and doing this? We wish you would have asked us this sooner. I mean, almost kind of criticizing the police. This is kind of like saying, oh, thank you so much. It's kind of, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Let's say, I mean, if she is on the property and they're coming to look again, and if they're looking in the right spot, then you would say something like this to get ahead of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, oh, we're so glad they're doing this.
Or maybe make them think they don't need to.
Right. It could be a head fake, or it could be a genuine statement. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just know there's a lot of suspicion there.
Are you getting ready to show something I don't know? Because I
what? I want to do this one just because. Oh.
Well, no, go ahead. I can wait.
We'll go to the restroom. I mean, I can wait for the next story.
Well, talk to everybody in chat for a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to make sure I'm following them, because that was when I did not know if it was legit, so I hadn't been following it.
See, I haven't listened to a lot of this Don stuff. Don also said summer was fish food a few years ago.
They also put
disgusting thing.
Yeah, they put out an hour ago. Thinking of you, Josie, Wyatt, Waylon, Summer. Love, Dad and Mom.
Oh, on the same X account?
On the same account. Yeah, an hour ago they put that up.
Okay, so that was before I could even. Is that showing?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's 4 kids of the 6.
I guess maybe one for Candace was not with Dawn. Maybe. Because it seems like Dawn's the one that keeps up with this account, I think.
Oh, and 2 days ago, look at what he put. Governor Lee, will you tell Summer if she is found today why her brothers are long gone? Yeeks.
What are you going to do?
See, Nicey Marie says, my opinion, I think TBI is working on a certain area, not necessarily the road. I think the players on Summer's case, they are investigating them as well, like the neighbors. Yeah, so that's another one of these stories. People think that there's a lot of people that have some knowledge and are involved.
Mm-hmm. Boy, you can tell that he's not happy, though. He's got lots of comments about DCS and taking their kids away. Lots.
Oh, really?
Yes, lots.
Underneath this one, the thing.
Yes,
one?
Mm-hmm. The next 4 or 5 posts are about DCS.
I didn't see any comments here at all.
Just click on their account.
Huh. Well, maybe it's not showing on this way. I don't know. I probably don't need to highlight all that anyway.
No, but there's a lot. So if anybody's interested in the case, it would be a good one to follow just to see the rantings.
Oh yeah, Tennessee. Oh, Sebastian. She says, I think that's why Katie added the thud to jump ahead on a head injury being found. Like that must have been the thud I heard, allegedly, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's if he's ever found. I think that's. I agree.
Mm-hmm. That I think that was definitely put into the story.
Was narrative seeding? Is that what you would call that?
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Says Don and Candace have 4 kids together. Then Candace has 2 by her first husband and another by a guy. And Don has 2 by his first wife. Thank you. It is what it is. This kind of stories. I want to learn more about the Summer Wells, but I know that there's a ton of stuff that Don has said. It would really take a while to navigate through, and he's kind of so, crass and awful to people. If you've ever listened to him speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to do that Chris McDonough thing and just see how you guys.
Yeah, because it's one
so
that I
good.
kind of have purposefully not gotten into because I kind of wanted to do that to see.
I think it's a complicated case too, from what I understand. So it's kind of similar to Sebastian in that sense, in that there's a lot of moving parts on it.
Gotcha.
Well, so Mrs. E will be back here in a moment, maybe. I want to go into.
Nicey Marie said, my opinion, I think TBI is working on a certain area, not necessarily the road. I think the players on Summer's case, they are investigating them as well, like the neighbors. Okay. That's interesting.
All right. Well, I want to get her reaction on this. She's got to come back for me. So I got sidetracked. Tennessee Nurse says, it made me think they were close when she added that. Seth was searching on Natchez Trace, but I agree. I don't think he will be found now, unfortunately. I saw you post something like that the other day, how you don't think he'll be found and how you think. The only part I would disagree about, kind of like that part of what you're saying with Sebastian, I don't think they think they're totally in the clear. I think somewhere they know there's some evidence, or they wouldn't worry about what people are saying on social. They know they've made some mistakes somewhere, or they would just go on and not be worrying about what people are saying.
Or there are people out there that know that could expose what happened, and they have to tread lightly.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think there's got to be other people involved.
Yeah, there's some evidence. People, something, a mistake. Mm-hmm. They know there's DNA somewhere. Whatever that happened. I think they know that, or otherwise they'd be a little calmer. You wouldn't have them acting wild outside of courthouses and stuff like that. Yeah. So you agree that I agree. I don't think they are confident about the case. I think they're confident he won't be found.
Well, we've heard that statement. He'll never be found.
Okay, honey.
He's also said something along the lines of
what did I miss?
Chris, didn't he say something along the lines of one day you're going to find out, or when you find out
the truth, or something?
Implied that there would be an end game, like a point at which, but that kind of might have just been, people do that sometimes too when they know, that there won't be. So, all right. So this is the one I want to get into here. So, one of the most famous cold cases had a little bit of information come out.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So I'm going to share this here. So do you remember DB Cooper? Do you know?
DB Cooper, didn't he escape with a fortune or something?
Yes.
Will you tell the story?
Auntie, do you know this one?
I do a little bit. I remember the story of him, but not a lot.
Right. So he was known as Dan Cooper because when he signed up for a flight with Northwest Orient Airlines in 1971, that was the name he used. There was a little misprint or something that happened in the news somehow where they called him DB Cooper, although that really, it was a mistake by the press, but the name DB Cooper always stuck after that.
Right.
And of course, we don't think that Dan Cooper is his actual name. But basically, he hijacked a plane on November 24th of 1971. The flight was going from Portland to Seattle. He claimed he had a bomb, and he demanded $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and that the plane be rerouted to Mexico City. And he wanted to refuel in Reno, Nevada, right?
Okay.
So he gets the ransom. He allows the passengers to leave in Seattle, and then he orders the flight crew to take off again. About a half hour after they take off, in the back of the plane, back then they had these, like, you could lower the aft,
Yeah,
the staircases,
I remember.
and he jumps out of the plane with the parachutes, right? So this has been like a massive case that the FBI has been working on.
Oh, and he had the ransom money with him.
Right. And
Wow.
there have been like hundreds of leads that have come in over the years. Of course, people have wanted the reward money and all of this, and all kinds of tips have come in over that time. Eventually, some of the money was found and a tie. Okay, so just recently, the FBI has released a massive file on DB Cooper and their information, and a little bit of information. Well, a lot of it was that there's just the people that were suspected, all these people they interviewed and cleared, and all of that, right? But the most kind of interesting part, a new little clue, if you're trying to solve the DB Cooper mystery, is
I'd
this.
like to find the money.
Right. I mean, you find the man, you find the money, maybe, right? Although I guess he's spent it all at this point if he survived. This says no one has ever been identified or arrested in connection with the case, although the hijacker purchased his ticket under the name Don Cooper. A media mix-up early in the investigation mistakenly referred to him as DB Cooper, solidifying the name that stuck in public memory despite never appearing in official FBI records. The newly released files confirmed that agents examined Cooper's tie, which was left behind on the plane, and found that it was covered in more than 100,000 microscopic particles, including rare metals such as unalloyed titanium, bismuth, and strontium sulfide. The presence of these materials suggested that Cooper may have worked in specialized manufacturing, such as aerospace or electronics, and helped shape early theories that he had technical training or access to Boeing facilities.
Oh.
So a little new kind of narrowing down in detail.
Wow.
On the DB Cooper mystery there.
I think, I forget what that show is that we used to watch, that they were looking for his treasure. What's the name of that show?
Oh yeah.
The one where they had
the guy with the hat.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I cannot remember that guy's name. But yeah, he goes looking for treasure, and once in a while he finds like something, and most of it, it's pretty.
He gets really excited about it.
Right, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't know this part of the story. This is actually kind of funny. The files also reference Donald Sylvester Murphy, who falsely claimed to be DB Cooper in 1972 in an attempt to extort $30,000 from the editor of Newsweek. According to investigators, Murphy wore a wig and sunglasses and attempted to present forged bills and with altered serial numbers. He was arrested along with an accomplice and later convicted of fraud. So anyway, so that was, there's not a lot of clues in the DB Cooper thing. I think, so just a little narrowing it down. If you are the sleuth trying to solve the DB Cooper mystery,
that's interesting.
You're now looking at people that may have worked in for Boeing or aerospace or early, computer kind of work.
That's interesting.
So I thought that was kind of fun.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to. Nicey Marie was talking about the
Sebastian.
Yeah, about the. Or someone was talking about the ransom thing. Yeah, we talked about that the other night. I guess I need to dig deeper into that because I'm trying to understand who received the ransom and why.
Was it Hindsight that said no? Oh no, Crime Time Buzz, wasn't it? She said she received it.
No, it was somebody she knew. It was somebody she knew received it. And
okay.
I need to dig a little deeper into that and understand that. So why?
Well, you figure, most of the time the ransom demands are hoaxes,
right?
To try to, get somebody to.
Especially large ones like that. Most missing children cases do not have ransoms have awards that large rewards. And so that one's going to be a big red flag for those kind of people. Like, oh, here's one with $500,000. Let's see how much we can get. I mean, that.
But I guess what's confusing to me is if I'm understanding it correctly, wasn't to Katie, wasn't to Chris, it wasn't to Seth. It was to some person.
And it wasn't directly to At Night or to Dog or the
Right.
police. Yeah.
Right. It just, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I haven't dug very far into it because we've been kind of slammed the past few days.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a hoax, right?
What do you mean?
It doesn't. That's the point I keep seeing everybody talk about. Well, it was a hoax. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
They don't
that
have
wasn't the
Sebastian.
point.
It doesn't matter if they have Sebastian or not. Well, I mean, obviously, it does matter. Even if it is a hoax, it's still a crime, and somebody's being targeted and could theoretically send money, thinking they're doing a good thing to save Sebastian.
Right.
So authorities, once they find out
criminal.
that somebody's even trying this, even if it's this lady on what was it, a Facebook?
Well, I think Just Jana says it was her Facebook was private crime time, I guess. So they sent her daughter a message.
Right. So you're hoping to get somebody.
But that it makes no sense to target somebody, some YouTuber. That'd be like them sending it to us. I mean, why wouldn't you send it to legitimate organizations involved with the case? Even if you didn't want to send it to the police, why didn't they send it directly to At Night or to Dog or to anybody that was more official than a YouTuber?
Right, but you're not listening to his argument. Listen to what he's saying.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how they do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Even if you 100% know, even if the authorities 100% believe that the ransom is a hoax and somebody running a con, they're still attempting to run a con. You need to alert the people that are receiving this information
and say, don't do this.
Do not send these people money.
Right.
You need to be in touch with us. Forward any more of these emails to us. We will take care of this, whatever. You don't just let people dangle for 3 days, because what if they emailed back this person, this daughter of, so is she saying it was Crime Time's daughter?
Oh,
whoever it is.
Janice says, no, it was someone, not a YouTuber. But how does this someone related to the case?
No, what I'm saying is a YouTuber, though, they couldn't reach her because they couldn't private message her. So they reach out to her daughter.
Well, she's saying it wasn't a YouTuber.
But it doesn't matter. It's not even the important. It doesn't matter who it is. If it's just someone following the case.
Okay.
Let's say they just target one of our subscribers because they know they're interested in
Okay, let's say they target Just Jana.
Right. Let's say they just target Just Jana. Say, hey, Just Jana, get this information to Dog the Bounty Hunter. We have Sebastian here. We need $30,000, right? What if the follow-up email is, we haven't heard anything fast enough, $5,000 now, or he's gone.
Right.
And so Just Jana goes, oh my God, what if this is real, and sends them $5,000 because she hasn't been contacted by Sumner, FBI, TBI.
I see what you're saying.
Don't do this. We think this is a hoax. Even if it is a hoax, it's completely irresponsible for them not to have come back and had some response to these people. That's what I'm getting at. And of course, obviously, if these 1 in 1,000, it actually is a real thing, then it is. But that's the gross negligence of it to me.
Right. I see what you're saying.
That even if they're and maybe the reason they are contacting somebody not directly associated with That Night or Sumner or Seth is because they're trying to have less of a trail, less of a direct tracing or something.
Well, they see how many people are invested, and they could, are targeting people, 5,000 here, 2,000 there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we realized that they were asking her to get in touch with his family, but that's not, if you're a real ransom person, you're not going to go through some random person to get in touch with his family. That was my point. You're not going to go,
No, but that's what he's saying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I 100%
just like T.
do not
Thompson
think
says, it doesn't matter. The police should have acted
right.
No matter what.
Yes, absolutely.
If I hear of a ransom, I'm 99.9% thinking it's not. It's a con. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure FBI, TBI, they deal. It happens with all these cases. You don't ghost people that are being conned when they report it to you, though. It's
Right. Exactly.
you know, they could have forked it. It just happened in Sumner County. It's happening. There was a story today in Sumner County. There's a con. Have you heard this?
No.
There is a con that's been happening here where people are going to the public records. Sumner County, same county that Sebastian disappeared in, right? They're looking at public records. They're finding people that have DUIs. Then they're contacting their family members, pretending to be detectives and saying, oh, there's this fee going to help him get out of jail by tomorrow morning. We can do this and this.
Oh
And
my
the
gosh.
uncle, whatever. And this one guy forked over $5,000 before it was said and done.
Mm-hmm.
They had already had multiple cons like this happen within the county.
Okay.
And but that was the biggest amount anybody had lost so far.
And this is the first we're hearing of it?
And that's the first we're hearing of it. And I hadn't gone
And
to
see,
look at
things like that had happened where I used to live. And as soon as something like that happened and they verified it, they put it on Facebook and everywhere and notified everyone, this is going on. This is happening. Please be careful. You know, this is not the way we would contact you, blah, blah, blah.
and I haven't gone to look at the Sumner County page yet, but I'm going to look right now.
And you're going to bet it's
And
not on
I'm
there.
going to bet. What do you want to bet? The Sumner County Sheriff's Office has not been warning people about this con. They've got a public relations person now.
Yes, Crochet. I've seen that too, where they call like a grandparent or an elderly person and say your grandson is in jail, and if he needs your help getting out, his bail is this. You're going to have to put up this money and they try to get money from unassuming, elderly or people that wouldn't understand what's going on. That happened to someone I know very close that they did that, and I'm like, hang up the phone, call your grandson, and make sure he's okay. Don't listen to him.
I didn't know that, IMT Bear. And they even use AI voices of your loved ones based off Facebook videos and voices. That's, oh my gosh.
Well, okay. I got to say, to
disgusting.
their credit, they did post about this 4 days ago.
Oh, they
okay.
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they said exactly that.
Well, I'll tell you, Tennessee.
But I don't know when this guy got scammed, if it was also 4 days ago.
I'll tell you, Tennessee nurse, I keep getting texts. You'll appreciate this. I keep getting the texts telling me that I owe the state of Tennessee for not paying my toll road money, like by bypassing paying a toll road fee.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have toll roads in this state, so
Right.
right. If I got one,
those have been going like wildfire all over the nation.
I know, but that's what's so funny though is there's not toll roads in Tennessee.
So here's the analogy. Okay. So you got the scam going on in Sumner County with the fake DUI thing where people are, pretending to be sheriffs. It'd be like you called the sheriff's office and you say, hey, the sheriff's department's calling me and they're saying that I need to pay $500 to get my son out of jail tomorrow. Is this authentic? And then they ghost you for 3 days and don't respond.
Right.
That's basically what they've done. Assuming that this is all true, that they actually sent the emails, which you would imagine they had to have done. That's what I'm getting at. That's the negligence part. I don't actually think that the ransom was real.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches. I got your Cash App. That was very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Thank you. And happy 4th of July to you too.
Much. Very sweet of you. So,
Tennessee nurse has gotten that toll road thing 5 or 6 times. It cracks me up.
But, they get, they must be getting away with it because, it must work.
Hi, Panda Bear's mom. Welcome in.
I just wanted to let you guys know I am going to jump off here at
No.
in about 7 minutes. So I just wanted to let you know because everybody's back here and it's going to get loud and it'll be easier for me to jump off at that
Bring
point.
the kids on. I'm just kidding.
Well, I kind of had 2 other stories. We don't have to do them.
No, we can do. You all
long.
can finish without me too.
But this we did the biggest stories only, but there were 2 others that were kind of like newer that we hadn't talked about. So let me.
You're the sweetest. I'm still trying to figure out what to send you. I think I've got a good idea for your winning the March Madness. I know it's July, so I'm not doing great, but I have a pretty good idea of what we're going to send you.
So This was a strange story to me. I mean, of course, it's horrific because this woman is deceased. But this is a 60-year-old Fort Worth man. He's been charged with the murder of a flight attendant who has not been seen since March. This is a reporting by CBS News. His name's Dennis William Day. He was initially denied having an involvement with 47-year-old Raina Nafal Soluri. His disappearance when questioned by Fort Worth police at his home in the 1600 block of Grantland Circle. He later admitted that he snapped when she threatened to call police and strangled her with his bare hands, according to the arrest warrant. Soluri worked for Envoy Air, a wholly owned subsidiary of American Airlines Group. It's just the way this all unfolded to me that is really strange. So she's a flight attendant. A co-worker reported Soluri missing on June 11th. Okay. But adding that she had last communicated with Soluri via text message on March 19th, when the conversation ended abruptly and had not been able to reach her since. The co-worker said Soluri had been living with Day for about a year and took a leave of absence for a minor surgery, but was expected back at work on March 31st. She did not return to work. The warrant states that Soluri's supervisor said she had worked for American Airlines for 5 years and the behavior was unlike her, and that American Airlines confirmed they had not been able to reach Soluri. A statement from the company says Soluri joined Envoy Air in March 2017. All right, so you got March 31st. She's supposed to be back at work. She never comes back. Then you've got April.
That's a long time.
Yeah, April, then May, then June 11th, and it's a coworker, right, that reports it. So detectives checked the cell phone number associated with Soluri, their arrest warrant stated, and verified she had not traveled on a plane for work or leisure since her last work trip from Phoenix to. All right. All right. So then her car is towed from his residence on May 8th. Police come there because I guess Day called it in. The officer spoke to Day, who said the vehicle had been parked there for almost 2 months, the same amount of time since he last saw Soluri, the warrant states. It's a brand new car, by the way. Day also told police about moving her things out of the home and into a storage unit. The report stated that Day did not express knowledge or concern about Soluri. I mean, that's really wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Police returned to Fort Worth home 1 month later. Fort Worth police were called back to the home on June 10th for a welfare check and spoke to Day. The officer's body cam captured the conversation. According to the arrest warrant, the officer was told that Day and Soluri were longtime friends and she had been living at the home on Grantland Circle before her disappearance. And despite calling and texting her, there had been no communication for 3 months. The officer was told Soluri's vehicle was abandoned in front of the house and no one knew where she was. The warrant stated that a reasonable explanation for her disappearance was not provided. Family and friends said they had no information about Soluri's whereabouts, according to the warrant, and the last time anyone had been able to verify she was alive was March 21st. They said it was highly unlikely she would leave behind her brand new car voluntarily. Well, of course. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So then homicide detectives take over the investigation. They get a warrant for Soluri's cell phone records on June 18th. One of the detectives said records showed the last time her phone made an outgoing call was just before 4 p.m. on March 21st.
March. Wow.
I just don't understand how much all this time that went by. The warrant showed that around 11:45 p.m. she used her phone. The phone used a cell tower on Meadowbrook Drive near the home of Grantland Circle. All right, so then this is where they get kind of the break in the case. Detectives returned to the home on Grantland Circle on June 23rd, where they met with Day and another resident. Both denied, and there's another resident, so I have no idea who that person is. Both denied any involvement or knowledge of Soluri's disappearance and consented to a search of the home, according to the warrant. The detectives searched the home's video surveillance. They found a video clip from March 21st where at 10:11 p.m., Day is seen dragging what appears to be a lifeless body from the home into the backyard.
Oh, my gosh.
The surveillance video stopped recording for many days after that clip, the warrant said. Detectives interviewed Day again, who admitted to strangling Soluri on the kitchen floor until she died, according to the arrest warrant. Day said he had dragged her body into the backyard, and when he realized that he was being recorded on his video surveillance, he disconnected the surveillance equipment, the warrant stated.
Wow.
And then he admits to everything. He admits.
Oh, are we getting ready to see what he looks like?
Yeah, here's the guy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
So he takes her gun, throws it in a like a drainage thing. He throws her body into the river. They still haven't found her body. They said there's been so much rain and all of that they can't find her. Of course, he's being charged with murder, and he's admitted to what happened. But
So
that's
did
just
he never say
incredible.
why he was angry with her or anything?
He may have gone into more details, but not in this article.
What a nut.
I mean, that's just. And then it says she's got family and friends and everything, but
So
nobody.
why wouldn't family and friends not lose that much contact with her?
That's just incredible.
So
It's
what
just so sad.
what day did this take place that he actually did this? On March 21st?
And we think so. At least that's the last time she made a phone call.
Oh no, that's the day of the video clip was March 21st.
Yeah, and an outgoing call at 4 p.m. that day from the same phone.
So the
Yeah,
video
the
clip
yeah,
on
so
March 21st, where at 11:10 p.m. is when he was dragging the body.
Yeah.
So
And then
this is June 11th when she was reported missing.
yeah, when they did the
Wow.
welfare check and all that. And so
3 months.
I know.
I mean, where is her family? Does she have no friends except the one person?
I don't know. I mean,
Wow.
well, one thing I thought that way is if it were like some kind of abusive thing, maybe he had disconnected her isolated her.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen, And then there's also the lifestyle. She's a flight attendant. And so they often don't have roots.
They're in and out of cities and destinations.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have friends.
And they often
they have apartments in other cities and they like with a group of them. So sometimes they might be in Chicago or New York. I mean, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And they often they'll work for a certain amount of time and be off for a large amount of time too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, family might have been like, oh, I'm sure she's doing her thing. And we'll hear from her when we hear from her,
Panda Bear says, I posted a new video on my channel. I did it. It's horizontal.
Oh, good.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Panda Bear's mom.
I'm going to put it up in chat. Panda Bear, you want to say what she's been doing for people who don't know?
Yeah, so she's been advocating for Devlin Tate, the missing person we talked about last week, and she had mentioned it on our members only. Talked in good detail and kind of just brought that story to our attention,
and thank you for the super chat
and allowed us to use her video, which helped us with the potential route he would have taken.
Right.
If you don't mind me asking, Panda, you had mentioned during that video that you think he'd never made it to the laundromat. Why do you think that? I was just wondering if there's like a clue there or some theory that fits. So anyway, that's that story. I just kind of wanted to highlight there just because I think that's so strange. I mean, I'm glad he confessed, but I mean, honestly, he could have gotten away with this whole thing if he had just destroyed his own video surveillance.
Right.
I mean, how stupid is that?
He had 3 months basically to get rid of this video. Just kept it.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
It's kind of
Jana.
amazing.
Did they have a picture of her? Did I miss it?
Of who?
The flight attendant?
Yeah. I didn't see her.
Not in that article.
Somebody said she was beautiful. I hadn't seen what she looked like.
I think I did. I think I saw this and I didn't realize I saw it.
So we'll do this one and then maybe we'll go after this unless there's anything we want to kind of talk about. But there was we hadn't talked about this one on our show, but there was a missing teen out in California, Marissa DiNapoli. And she's been found deceased. And they've got someone out on I think, unless he's been arrested just recently, he's out there on the loose. So we want to, who they think is involved, most likely. So I'm just going to read from this here. An 18-year-old has been found dead just days after she was reported missing in Morgan Hill, California, according to police. A body was found amid the search for Marissa DiNapoli on Wednesday and was positively identified as her on Thursday, according to police.
She's very pretty.
DiNapoli last communicated with her family on Saturday, sending them a text after 9 p.m., saying that she planned to stay the night with a friend and would return the next day, according to the Morgan Hill Police Department. She was reported missing on Monday after she did not return home or respond to calls from family, police said. Investigators determined DiNapoli was last seen with Martin Mendoza on June 28th, just before 10 a.m., when the two were seen leaving a residence just outside the city limits of Morgan Hill. So yeah, that's the deceased they found. This is not the outcome any of us wanted, and we are heartbroken by this news. Marissa was a vibrant member of our Morgan Hill community with a bright future ahead of her, police said in a statement. Mendoza was identified as a person of interest during the search for DiNapoli and remains so, according to police. Mendoza was not cooperative in the initial investigation, police said. Detectives are actively seeking information on his whereabouts and urge anyone with knowledge to contact their local law enforcement agency immediately. Mendoza is believed to be driving a white Toyota Camry bearing either license plate CW87W00 or 9PT-M351, police said in a statement Wednesday. But police said they are actively seeking out other leads as well, asking anyone with any information to contact Detective Kyle Tolentino at 669-253-4962. And the family's asking for privacy. I think that's all the kind of details, but take a look at that face there. Again, he is driving a white Toyota Camry, CW87W00 or 9PT-M351. And sounds like he might be on the run.
Real quick, Dreaming would like us to cover the Brian Schaefer case one day. Do you know the Brian Schaefer case?
I'll make a note of that.
It's a cold case from 2006.
I think she might have mentioned that before.
I think she has.
American medical student at Ohio State.
Oh yes, we looked at it, but she has mentioned it.
He's been missing since April 1st, 2006, after security cameras recorded him just outside a bar in Columbus. He had gone out with his friends earlier in the evening on March 31st to celebrate the beginning of spring break. Later, he was separated from them, and they assumed he had gone home. Security camera outside the entrance of the second floor bar recorded him briefly talking to two women just before 2 a.m. and then walking off screen without any further evidence of him leaving the area. He has not been seen or heard from since. The case received national media attention.
Wow, that is a weird one.
Schaefer's disappearance has been especially puzzling to investigators since there was no public accessible entrance or exit to the bar at that time, though there were several.
Right. This is the strange thing about the case.
There was a service exit near where he was last seen. Columbus police have several theories about what happened. Some interest and suspicion has been directed at a friend of Schaefer's who accompanied him that night, but he has refused to take a polygraph test regarding the incident. While foul play has been suspected, including the possible involvement of the purported smiley face serial killer, it has been speculated that he might be alive and living somewhere else under a new identity. Well, that doesn't make sense. Because a medical student, I'm going to
give up everything I've worked for
my whole life. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
but we should look into that.
I did read about it, but we should because that part of it about how they don't even know how he left, right?
Right.
How he left the building.
He went into the bar and never seen leaving on camera.
Yeah, that's what.
We can do that.
We can do that.
And
Rose,
I was gonna say, did you see?
Read that. Are you?
Rosebud says, my daughter's stalker may be released again in a few weeks. It's been a relief being able to walk amongst others without fear. And now here we go again. It never goes away. Pray they keep him in prison.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Rosebud.
That is awful.
We will pray. Prayers. We will say prayers that he stays where he belongs, behind bars.
Okay.
Yeah, Crochet's like, how would you get out without being seen? Okay, I'm stopping. I'm not going to touch it. You go ahead.
We would just saw the same thing at the same time. I mean, that's the question about that case. So that's why that's so interesting as far as like.
Yeah, let's do that.
It makes you curious about it.
Let's do that.
So we'll look at that. Make me do that.
I will make you do that. I will make him.
People suggesting, and then I'll forget sometimes later. I write them down. And
I write them down. I have a running list. It's just other things keep coming up. And
I know.
Yeah.
So that's all I had, unless you guys want to talk about anything we talked about today or any other stories you were interested in.
I'm going to have to hop off because
everybody's
here.
We got to go do dinner ourselves before we go do fireworks and all that. So I I appreciate everybody being here
Will you pull
today.
that
Happy
screen
4th
down?
of July to everyone.
And thank you to Hindsight and Dreaming of Blue Skies and all of our mods for hanging in there with us today. We appreciate you guys spending your 4th of July with us.
Yeah. And we will be back at least Tuesday.
We're trying. We're trying for Tuesdays and Fridays.
We're trying to stay as committed to Tuesday as possible. Tuesday nights is the plan. So trying to keep some consistency because people were like, I never catch your live because they never know when we're going live.
And we're looking at evening, right? Evening for Tuesday.
Yeah, we're trying to keep Tuesdays at night and then Friday during the day.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a doctor's appointment Tuesday, but it's during the day. So yeah, I'll be glad to do that.
Did Panda answer the question back there?
Oh, she did a smile.
No, she didn't.
She said that we could play her video. Are you talking about Panda Bear?
I was just asking why she believed he may not have ever reached the laundromat. Dylan Tate or Devlin Tate?
Devlin, yeah.
I was just wondering if there was a reason for that theory.
I don't know.
I mean, other than nobody actually saw him there or recorded it or whatever.
No, I don't think so.
There's one.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, so Panda Bear's changed her mind on that. Well, that's okay. I mean, we all have,
I think
changing your mind on theories is a good thing. We definitely don't want to be rigid,
right?
In our in your approach.
Right now,
truth seekers are open to changing their minds.
Right now, I'm concerned about the mobile home community.
Yes, it looks like that mobile home community is where you want to focus all your attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Well, prayers that he is found safely.
Yes.
And thank you guys for spending your 4th of July with us. We appreciate you, subscribers and members, and our crime dogs, of course. Oh, Rosebud has a request real quick. Write this down, guys.
Go over the interview with Nate Eaton and Lori Daybell.
I think absolutely. If I can ever figure out how, for our members, if I can ever figure out how to play something on Discord where we can all watch it together, if I could figure out how to do the Amazon, I would totally do that so we could watch the Idaho 4 thing together. And if you're not a member of our Discord, please email me, and you're a member of the channel. It is an exclusive for channel members. Email me at crimecast@proton.me, and I will send you a link. Middle E reworked our Discord that it because right now I'm not good at figuring out. I have to know you're a member. Like it will automatically take people that aren't members out, but I haven't. That's a whole other Discord I haven't even moved us over to yet.
And Hindsight said, Mrs. E, can you please type in the chat so I can grab your link to mod for Hindsight?
Oh, sure. Type in the chat right now.
It'll have to be from your account, not the Mr. E account. It'll have to be Mrs. Because unless you mod from Mr. E's Crimecast.
That's what I use. He actually has his own Mr. E account.
So where you put the email would be all right.
When you see the yellow logo, that's usually 99%.
You can do it from your phone right now, couldn't you?
And Rosebud Discord is free.
Chat.
Just type in chat.
Yeah. Discord is it is free. It's just kind of like a place where you can communicate, send files. I really want to start using it for more case discussion kind of on the side. I've been really bad about using it because we've obviously had our hands full with other, personal things. That's okay. The one, Mr. E, that's, you see there in the chat where he says hello. That is,
she said, I have Mr. E and Aunt E, not yours, Mrs. E. So the one that says Mr. E is Mrs. E.
No, Mr. E. Mr. E's Crimecast is me.
Hello.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes. Okay.
And you're the one that just posted that said hello, right, Mr. E?
That is me.
That is his.
So if you see that in people's chats or whatever, that's me If you see the
Yeah.
yellow, that's Mrs. E.
Most people think that that's some kind of imposter, but he wanted to be able to chat himself, and I had kind of taken over the Crimecast account, even though it says his name.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to change it.
So sometimes I go into people's chats and are like, "It's an imposter. It's not the real Mr. E." You know.
Yeah. People
Okay, I got a
figure it out.
whiny baby. He's got to get out,
Right.
so I'm going to have to jump off, guys.
All right.
Well, thank you.
All right,
Everybody.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And Discord is free. And if you are a member of the channel, you can join. So if you want to join, you can. It's kind of complicated at first, but you get used to it. So if you want to join, that's where I'm going to try to start doing more case discussion and more, just kind of general discussion. But you guys, thank you so much again for spending your afternoon with us. And we appreciate you guys so much.
Happy 4th, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Intelligent, keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best Grandy, unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.